Thousands of years ago, long before labels like veg and non-veg existed, humans stood at a crossroads every single day without even realizing it, holding a sharp stone in one hand and a handful of roots in the other, deciding how to survive the night. And this is where our story begins. Not in palaces or books, but around a flickering fire where fear, hunger, and hope sat together like silent guests. Because early humans didn't eat meat out of luxury or vegetables out of ideology, they ate out of necessity. And that necessity shaped civilizations in ways we're still arguing about today, as hunters followed animals across frozen lands, believing meat gave them strength, warmth, and courage. While gatherers, often women, learned the secrets of leaves, seeds, berries, and roots, slowly discovering that the earth could feed them without blood. And that quiet discovery was revolutionary, because while meat brought power fast, vegetables brought survival slow and steady. And that balance kept tribes alive. As centuries passed and humans settled near rivers, something dramatic happened. Farming was born. Grains and vegetables began to dominate daily meals. Not because people suddenly became peaceful, but because vegetables could feed many mouths for longer periods. And this changed power structures, armies, and even faith. Because soldiers marching for months needed dried grains and legumes more than fresh meat, and empires were built not just on swords, but on wheat, rice, lentils, and beans. While meat slowly became a symbol of status, eaten by kings and warriors, while common people survived mostly on plant-based diets, a truth history books rarely shout but quietly confirm. And yet meat never disappeared. It stayed tied to rituals, sacrifices, and celebrations. Because killing an animal meant something sacred, it was not casual. It was serious, emotional, sometimes terrifying, and often reserved for moments that mattered. Then came ancient philosophies, where thinkers began asking not just what keeps us alive, but what makes us human. And suddenly food was no longer just fuel, it became moral, spiritual, political. As some believed eating vegetables purified the mind, sharpened thinking, and reduced violence, while others believed meat built warriors, protectors, and rulers. And this tension created a quiet suspense through history, not with battles, but with beliefs, because civilizations that leaned heavily on vegetables grew stable populations, while those obsessed with meat often strained their resources, hunted animals to extinction, and collapsed faster than expected. And still, people didn't notice the pattern, they just argued louder. Move forward to medieval times, where peasants lived mostly on vegetables, bread, and soups, working fields from dawn to dusk, while nobles feasted on meat inside stone walls. Yet it was the peasants who endured famines better because they understood plants, seasons, and soil. And that irony is chilling when you think about it. Those who ate less meat often lived longer, not richer, but longer. And then came exploration and conquest, where meat became portable through drying and salting, fueling ships that crossed oceans, spreading power, but also spreading disease, destruction, and imbalance. While indigenous cultures, many plant-focused, were dismissed as weak, even though their diets were sustainable and deeply connected to nature. Fast forward again to industrial times, when meat became mass-produced, cheap, and detached from the act of killing. And that's when everything changed, because once meat lost its emotional weight, consumption exploded, and vegetables were pushed aside, turned into side dishes. And this shift didn't just change bodies, it changed minds, economies, and the planet itself, leading to a world where food abundance exists alongside hunger, and where debates about veg versus non-veg are no longer about survival, but about ethics, health, and future. And here's the real suspenseful truth. History shows us that humans never truly chose one side forever. Every civilization that survived learned balance the hard way through collapse, famine, or war. And today, as we sit with full plates and loud opinions, we're unknowingly standing at the same fire as our ancestors, asking the same question they did with fear in their eyes and hunger in their stomachs. How do we eat in a way that lets us survive not just today, but tomorrow? And maybe the real lesson history whispers, not shouts, is that vegetables taught us patience and continuity. Meat taught us strength and urgency, and civilization was built not by choosing one, but by understanding the cost of both. Because whenever humans leaned too far in one direction, nature pushed back, sometimes gently, sometimes brutally, reminding us that food is never just food, it's power, belief, survival, and responsibility, all on one plate.